Hey everybody, happy Memorial Day weekend. I'm so glad I have this opportunity of saying hi to everybody and sharing with you a little bit about my life and some aspects of being a military brat. I thought that would be a perfect way to share about Memorial Day weekend is about living overseas and living in Morocco for a couple of years, and I'm going to make it connect with Memorial Day weekend and what it's about. We forget sometimes when we celebrate these holidays. We are so focused on certain things like what's on sale and going on vacation and school's out, and now we all get to go out of town and do vacation stuff or whatever. And we forget what the real purpose of Memorial Day weekend is, and being able to appreciate the men and women who served our country and made it so that I could sit here behind a computer and chit chat. I've always had a point of pride of being a military brat, being a Navy brat. My mom was, an Army brat as well, and my husband was in the Air Force for several years, and I would have joined the military in a heartbeat if I was able to, but because of my vision, I would have never passed, the qualifications, and that's okay. I served in other areas, and but again, I just want to kind of share with you a couple different perspective of what Memorial Day weekend is. And my dog is deciding he's going to jump in my lap and knock over my computer stuff. So again, we lived in Morocco. We were living on the military base in Kenitra, and went to a school that was mostly military children, a couple civil service kids, actually a couple of children who were from who were children of ambassadors and things like that. So also all sorts of types of people that I went to school with. And we would go on these field trips. And I told you about Volubilis, and I love Volubilis, and we got to see a mosque, and we got to do touristy kind of stuff and really see the culture and the customs of that area. And I loved it. And it wasn't just a field trip, though. It was actually a lifelong lesson, and I'll explain why. One of the things that I noticed being a military brat was I had a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I had as a kid that other kids didn't have. And when we were on our way to a factory, the bus was going past this area that was a large farm area. And when I looked out, I saw all these young children working in the fields. And of course, I was like, okay, why aren't these kids in school? And it was explained to me that not all children got to go to school because of their class. They weren't privileged enough to go to a school and to learn. That they had to work. They needed everybody in the family to be able to bring in whatever that was necessary for the family to survive. A lot of these kids didn't have electricity. They didn't have clean water. They barely had anything. And these children working in the fields, I knew that they probably didn't even get breaks, that it was work. And if you know anything about North Africa, it can get pretty warm, and it just it really gave me a sense of appreciation for my life, to see these kids working out in the fields and having, to support their family by working. And then we get to the factory, and I'm thinking, okay, they're just going to have machines, and it's going to show us how they make these beautiful, carpets. And then I see these young 4 and 5 and 6-year-old children weaving these carpets, and it's because their hands are so small, and they can get the detail to get in there and to weave, and their hands are really, really fast. And I was like, these kids should be able to be in school. They should be able to play. They should be able to learn different, languages and math, and then grow up and make choices about what their future was going to be. These children were always going to have to work. These children are always going to have to provide for their family. It was no choice. And even the children who were orphans, a lot of the boys were put in orphanages, and they would have to be basically trained to be soldiers. And I would see these young people, children my age, marching around with these machine guns on their back, and they're being trained to be in the military. They weren't going to have a choice. Think about the draft and how appalled we are whenever we had a draft during Vietnam. This is how these countries are. They don't get to have a choice. And I think that was what I learned that day. I didn't learn how they made these carpets. I learned that I am privileged. I am, and I'm not going to sit there and get all political about it. I'm just looking at it at a sense of, I've got so much to be appreciative of. I got so much to be thankful for. And it's because of people like my father and like my grandfather and my father-in-law and all these men and women who served our country. I got to go to school. I got to make a decision about, do I want to be this or do I want to be that? And my father had his opinion on what I should be, and then I ended up pretty much doing what he wanted me to do anyway. Teaching computers and things like that. So, but I just remember the pride of being in the military and the pride of that American flag, knowing that I'm connected to these people who served our country and who made it so that people could go out and pick it and complain about this, that, and the other, whatever you may feel. At least we get to complain. Some of these other places, if you, and we're seeing it more and more now, where if you dare say anything against your government, they can haul you in and put you in prison, or in some places even, you watch news, and I know that we have so much to be grateful for, and that's what this weekend is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about appreciating those military men and women, and the other people who were involved in our military service, because there's civilians who worked hard as well, to make sure that we have every available privilege that there is. I keep saying that word, and I know people don't like that word, but yes, we're blessed. I can wear this cross on my head and mean it, and other places they see that cross and you're gone. So be grateful this weekend. Remember this weekend, even if it's 5 seconds, You know, when you're driving past that McElveen in Somerville and you see that huge American flag, be grateful. When you know somebody, when you see that gentleman who's wearing his served in Korea hat or whatever hat they might be wearing at that time, say thank you, because I tell you what, it wasn't easy. And you know, some of these old men that you see walking around those hats, they were probably barely 19 years old when they went to serve their country. And we have so much that other countries don't have. And I know I'm getting emotional, and that's how it is for me. You know, when I start thinking about this stuff, and I think about those children who didn't get to have the choice of being something that they wanted to be when they grew up. You know, I got to have a couple career changes. I got to raise my children. I got to make a decision if they were going to go college or, you know, yes, a lot of stuff is a lot of money, and we're paying through the teeth for some stuff, but we get so much, and where other people, they don't. They got nothing, and they're not allowed to complain about it. And you know, if you know anything about like with Gaza, you know, people picketed, and then, like I said, they were gone, and our people picket, and again, we should be grateful. And yes, we have a lot that we need to work on in this country. There's a lot of things that could stand improvement. I mean, we're only, 200 something years old. We're still babies as far as being a country is concerned. But I think you know, we have people who are working hard to try to fix that, and we have to be diligent and pray. You know, I can't go out there and do a lot of stuff like other people are doing, but I can pray, and I know you can too. And we can be thankful, and we can let the people know who served that we appreciate them, and that we can go to our Memorial Day weekend sale and save a couple bucks, and it's because somebody died for our country that we get to do that. It sounds silly, but it's true. It's true. And you know what? There's not too many other countries who do that. There's not too many other countries who sit there and say, thank you for serving. Thank you for allowing me to be able to complain about our government. Thank you for letting my child go to school and get an education and decide if they were going to be a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief. Yes, I am grateful. I am blessed, and I appreciate all those who served our country, no matter in what capacity they did that. And you know, I don't want to bring everybody. I probably already brought everybody down, but I think it's an opportunity for me to share, you know, how grateful I am that I have what I have, and it's because other people fought for that right for me. And I think we all need to take that second or minutes or the whole day and be appreciative of everything that we have. And you know, we can wear our cross or whatever you choose. I mean, I choose the cross because God chose me, and I am so grateful that we have the ability to say, I'm a child of God. I am a child of Jesus Christ, and I am blessed. And so I will end by saying, be a blessing and be blessed, and tell somebody thank you. have a safe weekend.